What up? What up? What up? Good Sunday afternoon. Well, late Sunday afternoon. Good Sunday evening and happy New Year Eve to all you ladies and gentlemen. Guess what time it is? This is going to be the last really 30 if unless something breaks. This is probably going to be the last TFG Sports Media show for 2023. But it depends. I might jump back on here if something really jumps off later on. But anyway, I am your host, Kendrick, the sports guy. Good Sunday. How you all doing? You getting ready for your New Year Eve festivities? You getting ready to pop some champagne? Gonna pop off some fireworks? Or you just gonna chill, listen to some music, watch some football, which I'm gonna be doing that later because actually as you can see, if you don't know, now you know. I'm a Packer head. I'm a cheesehead. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I always tell people I'm a Milwaukee, Wisconsin born, Texas raised. So there it is. The Packers and the Vikings actually get it on the Sunday night game. So we're going to check that out. And we already had some NFL action over the weekend. I mean, just starting yesterday with that controversial Cowboys-Lions game. And it's been all over the place. Referees missing calls, and the Lions said they did report, and the referees saying he didn't. They missing tripping calls beforehand. And then, the biggest thing to me, why didn't Dan Campbell just say, hell, F it. Let's just kick the point after, try our luck in overtime. Duh, especially after Michael Parsons gave him another chance. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So today we had some action. We got the Ravens and the Niners clinching the number one seeds in their respective conferences. And I think that quarterback for those Ravens, that Lamar Jackson, I think he sold up the MVP with that performance today. He threw for 5 touchdowns on them Dolphins. And so the Ravens and the Niners are the number one seed. They have a first-round bye and home field advantage through the playoffs. And the Eagles laid an egg. They done gave the Cowboys life again. They lost to the Cardinals, so technically the Cowboys now are the number 2 seed due to the tiebreaker and a better division record. And looks like they may luck out and get a first-round home playoff game because they dang sure don't play good on the road. So we're going to see what happens with them. Before we get into all the meat and potatoes, make sure you come in here. Make sure you talk to me. Make sure you comment. Do all that. Make sure you like, share this to all your social media platforms. Again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. This is TFG Sports Media. Make sure you like and subscribe to it. If you haven't already done so, you see it in the ticker, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to there. You can follow me as well on Facebook, Kendrick Sports Hustle and TFG Sports Media. And you can follow me on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51, as well as on Instagram, Kendrick 1969. What up, Charles? What's going on? Lions got screwed. You could say that, but at the end of the day, all he had to do was kick the point after touchdown and take it to overtime. At the end of the day, they got a second chance after Michael Parsons jumped off sides, Charles, in my opinion. And then secondly, they missed the call before that. It wasn't Hendershot that tripped. It was actually Hutchinson that tripped. So they missed that call. So, yeah, that referee – yeah, they was on some BS last night. But thanks for dropping in, Charles. I know you're a Niner fan, so congrats. The Eagles got Patricia calling defensive plays. Yeah, well, they laid an egg, and I didn't have a dog in the race either way, so it didn't make me no difference because my Packers are trying to sneak in the playoffs some kind of way. So we're gonna see what happens with that. But after all that, I got a special guest joining me, and this brother, you know what? Without further ado, I'm going to bring him on, and then I'm going to let him introduce himself. My good brother, Rico McGee from the Sports Minute. What's going on, partner? How you doing?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
I am good, man. I'm so happy we have got together and collaborate. But I'm not going to do all the talking first. I want all the people out in the audience, TVSG Sports Media, make sure y'all come in, comment, like, subscribe, all that. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about yourself, Rico.
Well, my name is, of course, Rico McGee, man. I am the host of the Sports Minute. Season 3 premieres January 2nd. We're going to change the name of it's going to be called The Ruler's Minute for legal purposes. But it's a 2 to 4 minute analysis show where we talk about all things sports. So football, basketball, boxing, baseball, golf, even pro wrestling. So you could definitely check me out at the Sports Minute Show with Rico McGee. And yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Make sure y'all go subscribe to my guy's channel, The Sports Minute. Make sure you go subscribe to there. I've been sending people there all day today, brother. So hopefully when you go to your channel, you look and say, God dang, I done got a couple of more subscriptions. So that's what we trying to do, man. We're trying to support each other, man, and build our this sports YouTube family. But tell them a little bit about your background.
Well, I am a 2013 graduate of Virginia Union University. Graduated from college, came home. I got hired at 92.3 The Fan, based out of Cleveland, Ohio. That's the sports radio station where we cover Browns, Cavs. Well, it was Indians at the time, it's Guardians now. Right. So we're doing that. Was there for about a couple of years. Then I got hired at Channel 19. Got laid off from the radio station due to the pandemic. And then I got laid off due to budget cuts from the news station. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and do my own thing. So that's how the Ruler's Minute was born.
And you and I talked about this when we talked about this through chat, and our similar paths to getting where we are now. We kind of had the same type of thing happen, getting laid off and saying, you know, we love sports, and we like, you know what? Why not? So here we are, and look at this, two brothers. We just trying to do our thing, and we hope you be entertained. But again, make sure you go subscribe to my guy's channel. Make sure you do that. He does some good stuff, and we just trying to entertain you. So we're going to jump into this thing, man. Guess what we're talking about today? We're talking about first of all, this is our list. This is my list and Rico's list. So there's no right or wrong. So you might not like our list, but it is our list. So we're talking about the top sports stories of 2023, and we're going to jump right in this thing. Rico, I don't know how many you narrowed yours down to. I just narrowed mine down to 5. I'm going to start at my 5th best and work up to my number 1. I think for, purposes of time, 5 is more than enough because we could talk about the best sports, all day. So I just limit mine to 5. So without further ado, at number 5, with you being a guest, I'm going to let you go first. So what is your 5th top sports story of 2023?
My 5th top sports story is being here in Cleveland, Ohio. The Browns and the Lions both finish with at least 10 wins for the first time since 1953. The last time that happened, they actually met for the NFL title in 1953-54. The Lions will go on to win 17-16. The Browns would finish 11-1, while Detroit would finish 10-2. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that was pretty big because both teams have qualified for the playoffs, and they will be playing some January football.
Right. By the way, yeah, if you didn't know, Rico's in Cleveland. He just told you that. And we're going to talk. It's something I want to ask you about Cleveland. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But that's your 5th. That's your 5th top story. Okay, sports story.
Sir.
Okay, coming in at number 5 for me is the Bills safety Damar Hamlin cardiac arrest that happened on Monday Night Football. Yeah. I was watching that live. I'm sure you probably were watching it like most everybody, watching Monday Night Football. And when it happened, I just thought it was a routine injury. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, this is taking a long time. When Joe Buck and Troy Aikman kind of had this solemnness about it and they cut to commercial, I said, something ain't right about this. Something is not right. And I decided to do it live and cut in, and then information start coming in, and the young brother, man, I had never seen anything like that since I've been watching sports all my life, man. What was your reaction when you saw? Did you see it live or did you see it after the fact? Okay,
I did. I didn't catch it. I thought he had just gotten hurt at the time, and then they showed the replay, and he had just collapsed. And me and my girlfriend at the time were watching, and I was pretty scared. I was scared for the brother. I was scared for the, because I saw like the Bills reaction and I saw the Bengals reaction, and I'm like, okay, something is serious. And when they said that he wasn't breathing and they had to resuscitate him, that's when I was like, oh, snap. Okay.
Right.
This is serious. And I think what really, I started, as the news came in that he was feeling better and things like that, and he was trending upward to recovery, I felt a little better. But just seeing the whole, I'm a Falcons fan. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a Cleveland fan. I'm a Falcons fan in Cleveland.
Right.
Don't judge me. But
right, gotcha.
Just the whole NFL community just coming together and supporting the Bills organization and supporting Damar Hamlin and his family. It really meant a lot to me. But I ain't gonna lie, when he was down, I was scared. I was scared. And I said to myself, if y'all keep playing after what just happened, I'm gonna be upset. Please let this man, But I'm definitely glad that he's okay now. And that's definitely deserves to be one of the top stories. And his recovery from that was just amazing.
Just amazing, yeah. And he's already a nominee for NFL Comeback Player of the Year, from what I read. We got a couple of comments we're going to read, Rico. Charles Moore said, I subscribe if he answers the question the correct way. Rico, what's your favorite team, NFL? He just answered it. Was that correct, Charles?
I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been a fan since I was like 4 years old when we was living in Virginia. I've always been a diehard Falcons fan with Deion Sanders, Andre Rison, Jamal Anderson, Chris Chandler. I've always been a diehard Falcons fan.
Dirty Birds. The Dirty Birds. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thanks for dropping in, Charles. Real talk for real men in the house, my brother. He says 2024 going to be big for both of you bros. Man, we appreciate that love, Real Talk for Real Men. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, go make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. Charles says again, Rico, how did you feel when LeBron took his talents to South Beach? We're going to get back to that, Charles. We'll get back to that.
I'm going to answer that. I'm going to tell you exactly how I was feeling and how the city was feeling, because we was pissed. But I'll go ahead.
Well, go ahead, Rico. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Rico. No, go ahead, Rico. Go ahead and answer. What's up, Black Hollywood Reporter? Thanks for dropping in, brother.
First thing I said to myself was, okay, now everybody's about to jump on the Heat bandwagon. I was in my feelings at the time, but they were burning his jersey. Of course, if you ain't know, like, they was burning his jersey. I remember I heard that there was a little girl, like, literally, like, lit the jersey on fire and was like stepping on his jersey. Like, there was people crying, and I'm like, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
There he go. Charles liked to be petty, by the way. That's my guy, Charles Moore. He liked to be messy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? We ain't gonna never hear the end of that.
It was funny. It's funny. I was going to ask you about Charles actually beat me to the punch about that LeBron story, but that's fine. Anyway, so we're gonna keep it moving. Let's get to our number 4 top sports stories of 2023. It's on you, Rico. What's number 4 for you?
Number 4 is probably Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Commanders, finally selling the team for $6.5 billion. This is big because people have been Commanders fans. I got friends that's from the area and they're big Commanders fans. And one of the things they said was, Dan Snyder don't care about winning. All he cares about is himself. Sell the team. Sell the team. Sell the team. Well, he finally sells the team. They're probably going to part ways with Ron Rivera after the season. Eric Bieniemy has actually not done a bad job, but he's got Sam Howell playing pretty decent for 60% of the season. So it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with the Commanders now that they're under new ownership. So I definitely got Washington being sold at number 4.
Right, and that almost made my top 5, but it landed outside my top. It was in my top 10, but it landed outside my top 5. The Real Estate Sider says, "How about them Cowboys?" Again, I talked a little bit about this before you came on. That game last night, the officiating was straight garbage, but I don't blame that loss on the referees. I blame that loss on Dan Campbell just saying, you know what, why don't we just kick the point after and go to overtime and take our chances, especially after Michael Parsons jumped off sides and y'all got a second chance. I did
Yeah.
not understand. I didn't understand that logic. Your thoughts on the Cowboys and specifically that game last night, Rico?
You know what? Dan Campbell decided. I think he wants to gamble. I think he said, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to, take it to overtime. I think he was willing to. He wanted to win that game, and he's a
Right.
gambler. Dan Campbell has gambled in the past, so I'm not surprised that he went for it. He was going to try to go for it, but Detroit had too many chances to win that game, and I can't blame the referees for that. Can't blame the referees. Detroit had a chance, and they just let one slip away. I bet you in hindsight, he's probably thinking to himself, well, maybe we should have just went on ahead and went to overtime and kicked the field goal.
That was my whole thing. Everybody's up in arms about it, but I'm like, man, all he had to do was kick the point after, take it to overtime.
Right.
You could win. You could win it in overtime. You know that, right? You didn't have to win it in regulation. But that's neither here nor there. So, as far as the Cowboys, again, the Eagles laid an egg today. They lost to the Cardinals, so the Cowboys are now the number 2 seed. We're going to Washington next week, and they could possibly look like they have a home game where they more comfortable at playing because they definitely play like trash on the road.
Yeah, you will too, because you're undefeated at home and on the road. Depending on who you're playing on the road, you're not that good on. You haven't been that good on the road this season.
Right. They haven't. The real estate insider says, I don't mind if Jerry paid him a few dollars. It's Christmas time. Yeah. We hear you. Real estate insider.
Yeah.
You hilarious, man. Make sure you subscribe to this channel too, the Real Estate Insider, if you haven't already, and the TFG Network. Make sure y'all go check it out, TFG Media and all that. Real Estate Insider can't name 5 current Cowboys players. See, there they go, going back and forth at each other in the comments. Now, my number 4 top sports story of 2023 was Memphis Grizzlies all-star guard Ja Morant and his IG Live shenanigans. This all started in March when he decided to go live in a gentleman's club, and he was brandishing a weapon. And then the madness continued. He talked with the commissioner. The commissioner told him, yo, we can't have that. Then guess what? A couple of months later, he got caught on IG Live with his buddy and with a gun again. He ended up getting suspended for the first 25 games of the season. He just made his debut about a week or so ago. And I just thought that, listen, man, I like the young fella, one of the most talented guys in the league, but God dog it, man. Your head just hard, man. What was your thoughts on this whole Ja Morant IG Live shenanigans?
You know what? With Ja Morant, I instantly got, the first time it's like, okay, we all make bad choices. Things happen. We'll let it slide. But then when you turn around and you do it again, it's like, my father used to always say to me, man, being dumb is one thing. Dumb just means you didn't know, you messed up, you made a mistake. When you do it again, now you're being stupid. Because it's like they warned you the first time. You go and you pull it out. You try to be slick and put it back. And you got caught again. And now it's like, come on, bro. Like, do you care right now? Do you care? And that's my whole thing. It's like, he's young.
Right.
Right. So it's like, did he really learn his lesson this time? Or are you going to go off and do some BS again? We'll see. The Grizzlies have kind of been one of those teams where it's like they're very immature. Dylan Brooks has done things, and that's why he's in Houston. Ja Morant, the whole team, so we'll see what happens with Morant.
Yeah. We will. And the other part about that, Rico, is, man, his pops, man. I think his pops should take obviously Ja Morant is a grown man. He that's his responsibility. He should be held accountable for his own actions. But when your pops is trying to be your best friend and your buddy, that ain't helping the situation either, in my opinion. And I think his pops should have gave him a little bit of more tough love. But that's kind of hard too when you basically your son is taking care of you. How can you really parent from that position? So that's a difficult line. I think that you as I can't relate to it, but I can see how that could be difficult as a parent, probably, to kind of tell your son, say, hey man, chill out or whatever. You know what I mean? So
right.
I don't know, man. I just hope he get it together and don't be pulling them stunts. I don't know if you saw that stunt he pulled the other night when he had the dunk or something. Then he did the shooting motions with
Yeah,
his. Come on,
like,
bro, you
come on,
can't do that.
man.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but
Yeah,
I'm,
he can't do
you
that.
know, I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
You just can't leave the guns
right,
alone, can
right.
you?
Can't leave him alone. he can't. He can't. Real estate, real talk for real men says it's the company he keeps, and it starts with his dad. I agree. I agree. The real estate insider also says the young what he says the young punks don't know how to act with all that money. You're right. A
You know
lot of
what
us
it
don't
is?
know
I
how to
think
act.
it's
Because a lot of us didn't come from money.
right. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you give me $100 to $200 million, and I might not know what to do with it. And I'm 36 years old, so it's like, you.
Right.
I've never had that kind of money. I think the most I've seen at one time is maybe $4,000, something like that. But it's like,
Right. Right.
you just it's hard,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you don't,
Yeah.
when you don't have the right people in your ear telling you, hey, don't do that. It's hard.
That's
So it's
right.
like,
You got yes men. Right. Mm-hmm.
right,
You're right. You're
a
right
lot of yes
because you're
men.
paying everybody to tell you yes and that you cool. Yeah. So that was my number 4 top sports story of 2023. Let's get to number 3. Rico, what's your number 3 top sports story of
My
2023?
number 3 top story: the Washington Wizards and the Washington Capitals announced their plans to leave DC and move to Virginia. Now, I'm not sure what part of
Oh,
Virginia they're moving to, but I know the Wizards and the Capitals probably because they're probably, it's really all about the Commanders. They're Commanders over everything.
right.
Commanders first, and then maybe the Washington National Baseball Team, but they announced their plans to leave DC and move to VA. I forgot what year they plan on making it happen, but they're
Oh,
building
wow.
a basketball arena for the Wizards and the Capitals. So that to me is going to be pretty big because I don't think Virginia's had a professional sports team since the Virginia Squires in the 60s and the 70s during the ABA days. So yeah, that was
Mm.
pretty big to me. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, the
pretty
ABA days. You're right, because you throwing some history out there for those the young. Well, you 36, so but you know your stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
the Virginia Squires, that's from the ABA, man. So they haven't had a professional team in that state since then.
Yeah,
Like, I
I don't
mean,
think so. I
wow.
don't think so.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that would be big if Washington, because I know how big the fan base is for those Commanders in that area. If for them to leave there to go to Virginia, that would be crazy.
That would be
That would be crazy. And I
crazy.
actually remember when I was reading that story, I was like, I don't think this is gonna happen. But you know what? Don't be if they get what they want, because they want a new stadium, right? Am I correct? They want a new stadium. The
Commanders,
Washington Commanders, don't they? Okay.
I think they want a new stadium.
Yeah, don't they want a new
They're probably
stadium?
not gonna leave. It's probably just gonna be the Wizards and the Capitals that leave. The Capitals is the hockey team and the
Oh, the
Wizards.
Wizards and the
Yeah,
Capitals. Okay. Right. The Wizards is okay. I'm thinking of the Commanders. I don't know why I'm thinking of that, because I'm thinking about the new group that's then came in there, Josh Smith and Magic
yeah,
now. And I know they're getting ready to clean house. And they may be asking for a new stadium too, because where they playing at it's kind of old. Isn't
yeah,
FedEx Field kind of old too? Kind of,
yeah.
sort of. I
FedEx
believe
Field's
so.
kind of
Okay.
old, so
All right.
we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens.
All right. Let's get to number 3. My third. Oh, actually, it's on you. Is it on me? Or it's on you, Rico? I think
It's
it's
on
on
you.
you.
It's on
We,
you.
we down to number. It's on me. All
Yep.
right, number 3. Number 3 top sports story of 2023. And again, I was going to say my question for this one, but Charles already got at you about LeBron. But this is about him becoming the NBA all-time leading scorer of all time. That happened back on February 7th. He scored his 38,388th point on a fadeaway versus, I believe it was the Thunder. It was against Oklahoma City Thunder, where he broke a record that had stood for 39, almost 39 years, held by the legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And speaking of him, we want to send a speedy recovery. A shout out to him. If you don't know, he fell at a concert like 2 weeks ago and broke
Yeah.
his hip, and he had to have hip surgery. So we definitely don't want to see the big guy, the captain, make sure he has a speedy recovery. So that, to me, outside of when you talk about major records that to be broken, I think that record probably falls right behind the all-time home run leader record when you talk about records that was hollow,
Oh yeah.
in my opinion. What's your thoughts on that, Rico?
I didn't think that record was ever
You
going
think
to get
so?
broken. I didn't think so. But then
Mm-hmm.
LeBron just came along and said, "Hold my beer." And then, I mean, just seeing what he's done over the span of his career since 2003, coming back, to Cleveland, winning a championship, which I didn't think I'd ever see a championship in Cleveland, and then that happened, and then he goes to LA, wins a title in LA, and just continues his accolade. What's sad, and it's crazy because I actually had the LeBron James story in my top three. LeBron is one of those players that probably won't be appreciated until after he retires. Once LeBron leaves, that's probably when players are going to be like, damn, his greatness is just unparalleled, because it seems like for every one LeBron fan, there's one LeBron hater. And that's just what it seems like. And for me, it's you can't knock greatness. LeBron is a top 3 player of all time. I mean, he might be your GOAT. Some people, Jordan might be your GOAT. It don't matter either way. LeBron is still a top player, and he is one of those players to me because of the scrutiny and everything that he catches. Never been involved in any type of scandals. You've never heard any, excuse me, no type of BS, nothing of that sort. So LeBron probably won't be appreciated until after he calls it quits.
You kind of take the stance that I do, because I'll be honest with you. LeBron isn't my GOAT. I think he's a great player. MJ is my GOAT, but I also think that's a generational thing too.
Yeah.
Just like you 36. Most likely you didn't grow up watching Michael. So you basically watched Michael on YouTube. You might have caught the tail. You probably watched the Washington Wizards Michael. You probably didn't see the little bit of the Chicago Bulls Michael. So it's a generational thing. Go ahead.
I saw a little bit of. I don't remember 91 Jordan. I remember when he beat the Phoenix Suns, and he went into his first retirement, and he came back. So I remember the Jordan from 94. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. From, let's say, 93 all the way up
94 on
until he retired to 03.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I remember that Jordan. He was my favorite player then. I was a little kid. So really my generation was Kobe, actually. Because that's when Jordan
that's right.
That's
and he
Kobe
gets left out of the conversation.
Came into his
and he gets left out of the conversation too. And I think he gets disrespected a whole lot. But again, I'm with you. I think LeBron is a great player, but I think it's kind of like men with women. What we like is going to be different, but that don't mean that woman ain't beautiful. So that's how I look at LeBron. He's not my GOAT because aesthetically, I don't. His game doesn't appeal to me. Michael just has a game that I like, the way he played his game. So I mean, but they both great. I always say that you can both players can be great. You can cut for one player and not really like another, but you ain't got to be disrespectful to the other player because they both great. That's the way I look at it. But a lot of the sports scene now, especially in these YouTube streets, bro. You see it on YouTube. You got all these caping for LeBron, and then if you don't cape for LeBron, you cape for MJ, then you're a hater, and it's just all this tit for tat, back and forth. I'm like, stop it. They both are great players. So let's
it's a generational thing. I think Jordan played in an era where the game was a lot more physical, and he played in an era where everybody hated each other. I forgot who said that, but he made a good point. He said LeBron plays Jordan played in an era where everyone hated each other, but LeBron played in an era where the game was more athletic. See, basketball is a lot more positionless in this day and age. When you got the big man that got the handles that can knock down the three, and he could move just as fast, and he could probably run the offense just as well as the point guard. Basketball is a lot more positionless. So who's to say that Jordan wouldn't succeed in today's NBA? Or if who's to say LeBron wouldn't succeed in that NBA?
And,
So
and,
it's
and that right. Yeah,
every you know.
great players can be great in any era. I say that if you're a great player, you can play in any era. It doesn't matter. You can adapt your game. So that's neither here nor there. We could go on and on and on and talk about that. Want to read this comment for Real Talk for Real Men? He says, "I truly like LeBron. But he covers approval. And for the record, I'm not a hater. I actually love everything he stands for, and just wish he allowed others to speak of his greatness and not push it." And I can agree with that.
I
I
agree.
agree. I can agree with that. And I wish he wouldn't have did all. I wish he wouldn't have did all the team hopping. That's my only
Yeah.
thing. I hated the team hopping. But hey, this is a different era. I'm not gonna be that old man on the porch talking about get off my lawn. You young cats, y'all, it's some talented young cats in this league. I know it's a different game, but again, LeBron is still gonna be great, no matter what era and what time he played in. All right, let's get down to number 2. Rico, what's your number 2 top sports story of
Number
2023?
2, I'm gonna go with the Live and PGA merge controversy.
That was a big
Everybody,
one. That was.
everybody talked
Mm,
about. Everybody was pissed when this happened because now they feel like Saudi Arabia's dipping their nose in the PGA, and now it's going to be a lot of people leaving PGA to go to Live, and all of these different things. And my thing was, well, it is what it is. I mean, who's going to turn down the money that Live is coming with?
There you go. I was getting ready to say. It's 3 letters. CTC is what Liv did. They cut the check, and
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know anybody
Exactly.
that's not go for that money. And I ain't mad at those people because let's be honest. Let's talk the PGA, the PGA Tour, and the PGA in itself is a good old boy network. Let's go and keep it funky. We
Yeah.
already know that's that old white men money, and they
Yo,
don't
yeah.
want nobody messing with their money.
Oh, yeah.
And so some of these cats was like, okay, y'all don't want to do this for some of the golfers that may not be top notch. Well, we're gonna go over here to Live, and they're gonna give us this bread. So let's go over here. And then to me, it creates competition. And what better way than to make your game better or your business better to be than competition?
And that's
So that's
exactly
the
what.
way I look at it. So I
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
mad at Liv for doing what they do.
Hey, listen,
Mhm.
I don't blame them either. When it happened, everybody was pissed, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, hey, now you're gonna have to step your
Right.
game up. You're gonna have to step your game up, not only
Yeah.
from the talent and the competition standpoint, but the business aspect too. And let me tell you something, they
Right.
got money to play with. I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised if
right. A whole lot of.
the NFL within the next 10 years. The NFL, the NBA, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, they got a whole lot of money. That's them deep pockets coming from over there.
Oh
We
yeah.
already know. We
Oh
already
yeah.
know. So I that's a good one. A lot of people. I don't follow golf like that, but I knew when this Live PGA back and forth started. I said, "Oh, this is gonna be controversial, and this gonna get some people pissed off." So that's a good one. No, that was your number 2. My number 2 top sports story. This one really could have been 1B, but it's definitely number 2. Uncle Shay Shannon Sharp leaves FS1 undisputed and takes
Yeah.
his talents over to First Take and ESPN, and just all the drama surrounding him leaving Skip Bayless. It started, I know exactly when it started. It started in December when they were debating the Tom Brady, whatever they were talking about, and Skip Bayless took some low blows, and told him he was jealous of Tom Brady and he couldn't basically hold his jock.
Yeah.
And I knew that was the beginning of the end. And then when this DeMar Hamlin situation happened, and Skip Bayless tweeted out, basically was asking, okay, so when are they going to resume the game? I knew that was going to rub Shannon the wrong way, and he didn't show up for work. That I said, okay, this relationship is about fractured.
Yeah.
And so the whole drama behind that, and I just knew, I was like, man, this marriage is pretty much over. What was your thoughts on Uncle Shay leaving FS1 and Undisputed?
I wasn't surprised because I don't think they ever really, truly, really they had a work relationship. They weren't buddies, they weren't pals. They just had a work relationship. and they got along
Right.
on the work side. And
Mm-hmm.
you saw the truth because I think Skip Bayless kind of held Tom Brady up on this pedestal. Shannon got tired of hearing about it, and it finally all came to a head. I mean, I really think that I wasn't surprised. Like, once that happened, I knew that was the beginning of the end right there, like you said. Shannon's going to leave at some point. He's going to get with
Right.
Stephen A. He's going to get with ESPN. And really, Club Shay Shay, the podcast,
That's
is really
really good.
is really what's taking off. So Shannon, I think at that point, Shannon really stopped caring about Undisputed. I think once the podcast started to take off, and this podcast is pretty good. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all that Shannon left.
It's hot, man. Actually, the nightcap he does with Chad Ochocinco, Rico, that is off the rails because they be talking about everything. I don't know if you check it out, but some of that stuff be X-rated. I'm like, it is hilarious, but it is very entertaining. Him and Chad complements each other really well, and I thought that, to be honest with you, I thought that Uncle Shannon didn't really need ESPN. I think that just was something for him to do, again, because his Club Shay Shay, his club, that podcast, that YouTube is blowed up. He's doing really well with that, and now his nightcap, man, it's taking off. And plus, looks like, man, he might be the guy ESPN, because there's been word that Stephen A. Smith may be looking to step away and do other things. So this may be setting up really pretty for Shannon at ESPN if he decides he wants to make that, kind of like his main thing. But if I was him, I would stay independent and make my YouTube channels my main thing.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
That's where I'm at, because I'm like,
because he
ESPN be laying off everybody. I mean, they done laid off
right.
That's probably why Stephen A. trying to leave. It's like, shoot, let me bounce before y'all get me up out of here. Even though I think he's the face of ESPN right now.
Right. Yeah. So they rocking it. So yeah, that was my number 2 sports stories, and it's still rocking, man. Because Shannon, he's that dude is, when you talk about entertaining, and it's just natural. It's kind of like you watching your uncle, man. This dude, he gonna come on with his black and mild and put on his goat mask, and he gonna do it all. That's the only thing I don't like about Shannon. He caped too much for LeBron. That's the only thing I don't like about this new sports media. These guys let it be known who they guys are, and I think when you sitting with a microphone in front of you, obviously it's cool to be a fan of a team or a player, but I think that shouldn't come into play when you're talking sports. I don't think nobody should know who you're a fan of. I mean, because now that's going to kind of show that you're going to show some sort of favoritism, and you're going to always be caping for that team or for that player. Even though I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, but I don't be sitting up here caping for him either, No, so it is what it is.
I can't cape for him either, man. I can't cape for my team either, man. It's like I love my squad, but I still, I got to be unbiased when I'm talking about other teams, especially in my division.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So now we got our drum roll. We down to Rico and Kendrick's top sports story of 2023. Rico, do us the honor. What was your top story of this past year?
Probably Michigan getting caught up in the cheating scandal. Not even surprised that this would happen. But there's a lot of controversy. A lot of people saying Michigan's sign stealing allegations. Despite the fact that Jim Harbaugh was suspended the first 3 games of the year, was suspended for the Ohio State game, and they still found a way to beat Ohio State, still going to the college football playoffs, still Big Ten champion at the end of the day. It's going to be, if they beat Alabama tomorrow and find a way to win it all, what are people going to say? Because, I mean, I know they didn't have time to send somebody to go steal signs at Alabama.
Right.
They didn't have that kind of time. They didn't know who they were going to play. So now it's like, How do you
Right.
what do you say about that? So I
Right.
think Michigan still winning despite the sign stealing allegations, despite the illegal recruiting allegations. Michigan still found a way to remain on top of the Big Ten for third year in a row. This is now.
I think it is the third year in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with you being in Ohio, and we know that rivalry between them Buckeyes and them Wolverines. It ain't that's a rivalry, man.
Listen, I'm
Uh
glad I didn't bet money because I thought Michigan had the defense. I thought they was actually going to beat
yeah,
Michigan. I mean, I thought Ohio State was going to beat Michigan because Ohio State had that defense,
right.
but then they showed lags of, against Maryland, and it's like, you know what, Ryan, I did an episode about this
Yeah.
earlier this year.
Yeah.
Ryan uh, days may be
Mhm.
numbered in Ohio State. I think they're going to give him one
Oh, you
more
think?
year.
Oh, you
I
think
think
so?
so. I think they're gonna give him
Okay.
one more year,
Okay.
and if they don't beat Michigan next year, then he'll probably be out the door. Because we all know, man, Ohio
Right.
State and Michigan is a heated rivalry. You
Right.
could lose all 10 games. You beat Michigan, it's a
Mhm.
winning season. That's as far as they're
Mhm.
concerned. You have to beat Michigan.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
what's your number one?
Gotta be. Yeah. Yeah. And I know that's a big rivalry. We're gonna get to it. I want to ask you this question: If Michigan, there you go with the drum roll. I got you, Rico. If Michigan wins the national championship, do you think they're gonna put like an asterisk over in and say, there's too many clouds hanging over that program. We don't really believe they the truth. You think that's gonna be the narrative a lot of people spin
I
if
think
Michigan
so.
wins this whole thing?
I think
You
so,
think so?
especially here in Ohio. They gonna put an asterisk next to it, especially here in
Oh,
Ohio.
okay. I got you.
Probably a lot of Big
Yeah.
Ten fans are going to put an
Mm.
asterisk next to it because Michigan, I didn't realize how hated Michigan was by a lot of schools within the Big Ten and out the Big Ten. So I
Mm.
definitely think that if they do win the national championship, they're gonna use this as a way to discredit their accomplishment. I wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised. I probably wouldn't either. So now we're getting down to almost the end of the show. And guess what? Drum roll, please. My top story, sports story of 2023. And you got to know it's prime time, baby. It's Coach Prime and
Mm,
those Colorado Buffaloes. The spotlight was on them from the beginning of the season to the end. And hey, it was a lot of hype in Colorado. I tell you what, I believe the Colorado Buffaloes was more popular than the Denver Broncos. We already know the issues that they got going on right now
right,
with
right.
that team. But Coach Prime came in to Boulder and gave that community a shot in the arm of confidence, of a little bit of swag, because you know he's gonna bring that, and a lot of bit of money because the
Oh yeah,
economic impact that Coach Prime brought to Boulder. I did something on that. I think he roughly the revenue was like $70 million worth of revenue that he brought into that city, to that school. All their home games were sold out for the first time in over 20 something years. Just the whole impact of his presence on a campus. And they only won 4 games. I personally was saying that they weren't going to win no more than, I said, maybe 6 and get a bowl game. So I wasn't shocked with the season. I mean, heck, he was starting from scratch. He said he was bringing his own Louis Vuitton, and he did that. He was bringing his own guy. So they was going to have some hills to climb. I just think a lot of people jumped on the hype train too early. And just it's a process. So obviously, Coach Prime in Colorado, you talk about the whole 2023, man. That it was all about them in Colorado, man. What's your thoughts on this whole Coach Prime hysteria?
you you know what? When I watched that first game, I said the offense is good, but they got to build into the trenches. They need to build that defensive line and that offensive line because they got to get Shador Sanders some protection. They got the skill players, on both sides of the ball. The thing is, they're gonna have to build that offensive line and that defense, especially that defensive line. Because watched a couple of games, it's like, damn, they can't get to the quarterback. They got to get an edge
Right.
rusher bad. And that offensive line, once Shador gets some protection, you see what he was doing already in the 4 games that they won. So imagine if they get an offensive line, a solid offensive line, they're gonna be a beast.
Right.
They're gonna be hard to
And
stop. And then
yeah, and they're going to the Big 12 too, so that's definitely going to be
yeah,
a little bit, yeah, they're gonna probably, and he's gonna be able to recruit. He's already grabbed some recruits already. I know he's had some to decommit, but that happens at every college. You can have big
right.
commitments, they decommit all the time. That's no big deal. So you're right, man. I think again, everybody was expecting them guys to be game busters, but I knew they weren't. There was a bunch of stories, man, that we both left off. We just didn't have a whole lot of time to get it in. Crawford Spence Jr. fight. That was
Oh
probably
yeah, I
one of the
thought
most
about adding
anticipated
that one.
fights. Yeah, I did too. I
I
really
thought
did
about it.
too. Uh, I really did too. Then the death of legends. This is what I wanted to ask you before we get out of here. The death of Jim Brown, Dick Buckets, and Bobby Knight. With you being in Cleveland, the death of Jim Brown. What was that like, man, when the legendary running back passed away?
When they first announced it, the city was kind of somber, very
Mm,
somber. Because I mean, in a lot of our eyes, our generation, we didn't see Jim Brown play, right?
right,
But
right,
our father, our parents, and our grandparents, they all, some of them all saw Jim Brown play, and they'll tell you that Jim Brown was a whole different breed and probably the greatest running back in NFL history for a lot of people in their
right,
opinion. So when he passed, not even just that what made him a hero. I mean, the things he did in the community. Um, Definitely was an advocate for civil rights when he retired from football. Had a little acting career too.
right.
I remember him when he's in Original Gangsters.
Hmm.
Um, just an all around,
Right,
just
right,
an
right.
awesome
Yeah,
person to be around. And the things he
yeah.
did, man, he was just an awesome person. So when he passed away, man, a lot of us were the city was down about it. Definitely down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. So yeah, we lost two led. Just on the sports side, it's probably more, but those definitely the three that stand out in my mind was Jim Brown, Dick Buckets, and Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
Those legendary, larger than life. Some other ones we didn't get. Could have been on here. Texas Rangers win their first World Series. Denver
Yep.
Nuggets win their first NBA title. The end of the college football Final Four, as we saw the controversy with that.
Right.
The
Right.
NBA inaugural in-season tournament.
Yeah.
Tom Brady officially retires for the second time. The
Yes. No,
LSU Lady Tigers, yeah, right. LSU Lady Tigers win their first national title, and the whole Angel Reese and Can't See Me
yeah.
thing with Caitlin Clark. We had that, and obviously you already mentioned the Washington Commanders, Soldier Johnson, and the WNBA Brittany Griner being detained in Russia, and she finally coming home. So it was a whole
Right.
lot of top sports stories we had. We just limited to the five that we thought was the big ones, no matter what. So that's our list, man. So we're gonna get our little final thoughts. But I definitely, Rico, I want you to kind of tell the people where they can find you, how they can follow you, how they can subscribe to you, and what you got on your plate for 2024 as far as being a content creator in social media.
Well, you can find me on YouTube, The Sports Minute Show at Sports Minute McGee. Uh, Starting Tuesday, man, we back at it. We got Cleveland Charge basketball. That's the NBA G League team. We're gonna bring highlights in the sports report for that. We got Cleveland State basketball that we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk some MAC basketball. Um, we got some things that's definitely in the works that we definitely working towards. I got a couple interviews with a couple of players that you definitely want to get to know and you definitely want to talk to. We're going to educate some people as well. So we definitely got some big things for 2024 in the works, man. Definitely. Definitely.
Definitely, man, and I'm glad that we linked up and we found each other. I stumbled just to give y'all a quick history how I found Rico. On YouTube, you just be on there. And I think your channel did like popped up in my recommendations, and then I started watching. I said, okay. I was checking out the little graphics you had. Your graphics, like, okay, I like his little intro. I said, look at. I said, my man's got some flavor. I said, let me subscribe to my brother channel. So I would anytime you post something, I try to watch it, try to like it, try to comment here and there. So Rico reached out to me and said, "Hey, look, man, I want to see if we can." And it was funny. I was thinking the same thing. This was a couple of weeks ago. I said, "Man, I was already thinking about. I was trying to reach out to you to see when can I get you to come on live and we could just chat, chat it up." So that's kind of how we met, man. And we're gonna try to do a little bit more collabs. At least
Oh,
that's I
definitely.
want to do that when you can. And so we in 2024, we're just trying to build, man. We both got small YouTube channels, and we just trying to build and do our thing, man. And we got something to offer.
Yes, we do.
Everybody has their own style and their own personality, but we got something to offer sports fans. Not only sports, we can give you something. We can turn sports into a news narrative and give you a news angle if you need be. So y'all make sure y'all support my guy Rico, man. Y'all go subscribe to his channel, follow him, and look out for big things from him in 2024. And look out for more collabs between him, myself, TFG Sports Media, and Kendrick Sports also. So, Rico, brother, I want to thank you for joining me, my man. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I'm glad we was finally able to do this to close the year out, man. This means a lot to me. It really do.
It means a lot to me too, man. So I'm gonna let you go enjoy your New Year Eve, man. Don't pop too much bubbly, bro. Be
Oh
safe
no,
out
not
there. Don't pop too much bubbly.
Nah, man. I'll probably go drink some water and chill.
I know that's right. I got me a little wine that I'm gonna pour because my Packers and Vikings get ready to come on here at 7:30. So we got an
Okay.
outside shot to maybe get a wild card. So I'm gonna be watching Packers and Vikings, and I'm like you, I'm gonna be chilling. So we're gonna go from there. Again, brother, thanks for joining me. We gotta hook up, collaborate, and see when we can do something again together in the next couple of weeks or so. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, my brother. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New
Year. Peace. All right, man. That was my guy, Rico McGee, with the Sports Minute. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel. Make sure if you didn't already, comment here, like, and share this to your social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe to TFG Sports Media on YouTube. Make sure you like TFG Sports Media on Facebook. And make sure you like and subscribe to Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube. That's SportZHustle. And like and follow me on Facebook, Kendrick Sports Hustle, and Kendrick Roline Henderson. And also, you can follow me on TikTok. That's Kendrick Henderson 51. And you can follow me on Instagram. That is Kendrick1969. So again, you guys, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Be safe out in the streets. Happy New Year. And guess what? We will see you next year. All right. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. I am out. Peace.